Hey y'all, it's Samuel, and I am here for my top 10 hood movies of all time. I hope you'll enjoy this list. Now, I know some of you are probably already saying just by seeing the list that there are other movies that you probably consider greater, and that's fine. We can do a part two. However, I wanted to cover my initial top 10, and the reason why I picked these movies are because of their cultural significance as well as their storylines. So, here we go. Coming in at number 10 is State Property. Now, this movie is about a ragtag bunch of psychopaths who get together and decide to wreak havoc on the Philadelphia trade, so to speak, led by their fearless leader, Beans. They go through quite an adventure and a war with other factions. No matter how much money they make, though, they continue to be dusty throughout the movie. And some of the acting is weird, and some of the lines are iconic, like, "You're gonna be in trouble." It's funny, but it is a good movie to watch. Number 9 on my list, Fresh. Fresh is a really good movie and could probably be higher on this list except for some of the acting. I mean, this is a movie that picked Shakespearean actors to play thugs in some cases. Interesting part though, the guy that played Gus Fring in Breaking Bad is in this movie as well. And this movie centers around a child growing up in the area of Baltimore who is just going through it and has to be an adult when he's not even ready or even close to even reaching puberty. And so it's a really good watch. This kid is very, very smart and calculated and methodical, and I would definitely recommend giving this one a watch. Oh, and by the way, Samuel Jackson's in this movie as well. Number 8 on our list is Belly. Belly has Nas and the iconic DMX in this movie. And DMX's performance is what brings this movie in at number 8. The movie has terrible acting, but it has a great story, and it is cinematically done in a way that puts you in the middle of all the action. Now, there is a scene about a character that's from Omaha, Nebraska, which I find completely unfair because I'm from Omaha and we've never known anybody like this. Also, this scene of the movie was not filmed in Omaha. It was actually filmed in Brooklyn. But however, the story is good. The need and the grasp for power that these gentlemen have in this movie is unmatched. I definitely recommend giving this one a watch if you've never seen it. Coming in at number 7 is Baby Boy. Now, Baby Boy is good depending on what era you're in your own life. If you are young and roughly his age, you will see him as a sympathetic character. However, if you are my age, you see him as a grown man-child that needs to get it together. Baby Boy is about this young man who is transitioning from a boy to a man in a world that is not particularly kind, and he has baby mama issues. His mother has a boyfriend he doesn't exactly approve of. But again, like I said, as I got older, I began to see Melvin a different way. If you've never seen this, give this one a watch. It's very iconic as well. Many great actors and actresses in it. So give this one a watch if you've not seen it. Coming in at number 6, King of New York. King of New York has Christopher Walken in it, and Christopher Walken plays somewhat of a Robin Hood in the streets of New York in the late 80s. He has a ragtag group of people that work for him of all different nationalities, and there's even a scene where he's in the middle of going through a situation with some thugs, and he basically buys them to do work for him. It's very, very good. Again, Gus Fring is in this movie. Also, Lawrence Fishburne is in this movie. You might want to give this a shot. King of New York is fantastical, but it's also raw for its content. So, good movie. Give that one a watch as well. Starting out our top 5, Juice at number 5. So, if you haven't seen Juice, you must have been living under a rock somewhere. And if you have been, it's totally okay. Juice follows a story of 4 friends who grow up in New York, and they've been through it all. They're their own little clique, and a situation happens, and all of a sudden, one of them starts to get really hot-headed and psychotic. And so the movie becomes a definite version of good versus evil in the hood and what side you're going to choose to take when the time comes. comes. So if you haven't seen Juice, please see it. It comes in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, Menace to Society. Now, for me, Menace to Society can go on this list or also one of the top 10 hood comedies list, which is coming soon. Because this is a movie that I should not find funny, but there are so many hilarious situations that happen in the movie that it makes sense for things to have gone the way that they went based on the way that people were behaving in the movie. If you haven't seen this movie, Kane, played by Tyrone Turner, is a young man that just graduates from high school. He's already in the game. So this movie starts you out right in the middle of the action. It doesn't lead up to it. It kind of does away with nuances and just kind of gets right to the point. His right hand, O-Dog here, one of the most scariest TV individuals imaginable as far as how heartless he was. This movie had cultural significance because the Hughes brothers were the first dual brothers to have been nominated for an Oscar for this movie and to get credit for it as well. I can't remember if they won or not. You can check me on that. It doesn't, sorry, I don't remember. Anyway, this movie is very iconic, especially in the community, and its cultural significance is rather impactful because a lot of lingo, a lot of clothing, and a lot of behavioral things came from this movie. This movie actually had issues at movie theaters when it came out. That's how effective it was on people. Number 3, Paid in Full. Now, Paid in Full is very, very interesting because Paid in Full has 3 actors who grew up in the area. Well, at least 2 for sure, not 3, but 2 actors grew up in the area and around the time that the true story about this was actually going on. This is about 3 friends who find success living a certain life, and that success starts to separate things and cause problems for other people. Not going to give any spoilers away, but the ending is kind of heart-wrenching. However, this is a very good movie, very good actors, and it made the list just because it's very impactful in the story, the fact that it is based on a true story, the fact that some of these people are still alive that were around when this really happened. So this makes the list at number 3. Coming in at number 2, Boys in the Hood. Boys in the Hood follows a young man named Trey who is trying to find his way, so to speak, in the world. He's torn between 2 different lifestyles and having grown up with friends that are all over the place in South Central LA. He has a strong father played by Lawrence Fishburne, who has a very iconic conversation with Ricky and his son Trey about gentrification. And about what goes on in the Black community and how we need to self-examine ourselves. So there was that aspect of it too. The social aspect was very, very important. This was especially at a time when gang activity in LA was at an all-time high. And so it was several actors' theatrical debuts, namely Ice Cubes rather. And so we look at this movie, and this movie really affected the way the urban scene was seen after this and the way gang culture was seen. There's also a really crazy scene where Cuba Gooding Jr. swings at dead air, which is super hilarious. However, this movie comes in at number 2. Coming in at number 10, New Jack City. New Jack City is iconic in many ways. We got Wesley Snipes, who ended up becoming a blockbuster type actor in Hollywood. We had Chris Rock, who played Pookie. We also have the beginning of Ice-T playing a cop for the majority of his career. This movie centers around 2 friends who started out with the same goals in mind, but money, women, and greed led them down different paths and ushered in a series of betrayals that just ended badly. However, this is a great movie. Its cultural significance as far as music too. It created New Jack Swing with groups like Guy, Troop, and Levert on the soundtrack. So this movie comes in at number 1 just because of how powerful and real and gritty this was at the time. I'm Samuel, and that's my top 10. Stay tuned. I will have another part 2 of Hood movies. Have a great day.